Hello and welcome to Monza for round 8 of season 3 of the FVR GT7 League. My name's Nathan, your commentator for this evening, bringing you the action from the Temple of Speed, located north of Milan. We've got 16 drivers on tonight's grid that will tackle this beautiful high-speed circuit and all the challenges it possesses. Drivers trying to keep it clean as best they can whilst carving their way through the field. Of course, this is the post-race replay, so we do not have a live qualifying session for you tonight. But we can look and see how these drivers fared in qualifying. And so we'll start, like always, from the back of the pack. I did not mean to do that. There we go. And we'll work our way forward from the back. If I line this up, there we go. And we'll see the cars head on as we make our way to find out who starts on pole position. So, starting in 16th place, apologies, I'm just trying to make sure the stream's actually live. It is. That's wonderful. So in 16th place and on the left-hand side is Avesta Gobardi. He starts last after disconnecting from qualifying and not setting a lap time. And just in front of him is Kian, in the Nissan GTR. In 14th place and but fifth in the drivers' championship is Piero. That Ferrari will struggle around here. He was 1.5 seconds off pole position. On the right-hand side, in 13th place, Jakob starts in 13th, behind Callum Birch, who starts in 12th. We're not in the middle here, are we? There we go. He starts in 12th place in the Porsche, just behind Tim in the GTR in 11th. 1 second off pole position, that's not Cameron Hill. No, it's Xavier Maynard. He starts in 10th on the 5th row of the grid with, there he is, Cameron on the right-hand side. He starts in 9th place. Just inside the top 8 then, we've got Evan on the left-hand side, a second once again off pole position, as is James in front of him, 1 second off pole position. Those 4 drivers separated by barely anything in qualifying, less than 1/10. Separating 7th from 11th. Then comes the second Squadra Italia car. Myself starts 6th, behind Tyler in 5th. Then in the second row of the grid, it's an all Dutch line-out with Leon on the left and Maurizio on the right in 3rd and 4th place, the 2 Lexus drivers. But it's our front 2 in the championship, in the front 2 on the grid. It's Ate Timgren on 2nd, Jensen Taylor on pole, and that is how they line up in the Drivers' Championships. Jensen taking the lead of the championship for the first time this season, and he has his championship rival starting right behind him. A 1:45.7 was the pole time in that Lexus, 4/10 quicker than the car behind him that's won so many races this year. However, when it comes to qualifying and one lap pace, it has been Jensen that has been setting the timing sheets alight with 7 consecutive pole positions, smashing the previous FBR GT record of 2. Which just goes to show how much of a good qualifier he is. Hello and welcome to everyone who is tuning into the live stream. My stream has just stopped, so I'm going to make sure it's still working. There we go. It is. We're still up and live. That's fantastic. I think we are ready to get this race underway. 25 laps will determine the winner of the Italian Grand Prix as we build to 5 red lights at the 5.8 kilometre circuit, and we go racing here in Monza for round 8 of season 3. It's a great start for Ate off the line. He's pulling alongside his championship rival, but a great start from Evan Dalton, who's already up into 7th place behind Jensen leads the field away into turn 1. Ate has to defend from Badder Big, who's trying to go round the outside. They're 3 wide in the background. Couple of cars going wide and off the track. That's James, Nathan and Tyler going side by side, and behind them there's a Ferrari off the track. Cones being sent flying through turn 2, but leading the field away is our championship leader, Jensen Taylor, who's had a great start in the Lexus RCF. And he leads the Porsche 911, or does he? Because here comes Maurizio down the inside in towards turn 4. Ate riding the curbs on the inside, keeps the position for now. Evan looking for a move on Leon into 4th place, but isn't quite close enough to send one down the inside. I think that was Tyler getting ahead of Zav in the battle for 8th place, and Avesta already up to 12th. He's side by side with Callum in towards the second Lesmo, but tucks behind the Brit. It's still early on in this race. Everyone's starting on the medium compound tyres and everyone surviving the first lap. Jensen leads the field away through the Ascari chicane with a little bit of a lead over his championship rival. Dust being sent up in the air. That's Avesta off the track. Was there contact between him and I think it might have been Piero that caused that incident, and he's gone from the grid. Avesta has retired from the race at the end of lap 1. That's Leon looking for a move down the inside of Maurizio, but I think he's overcooked in and ran wide. Back up to the front of the field, it's Jensen who starts lap 2 in the lead of the race. Maurizio giving Ate a bump draft in the run down towards turn 1. All the drivers now single file tucked up in the slipstream of the car in front. Oh, we're going to see a move for second place, for 6th place, maybe even 5th place. Nathan looking for a move on James as Xavier goes down the inside of Tyler in towards turn 1, moves himself up into 8th place. Behind, Pierre has picked up a half-second time penalty for track limits, presumably down at either turn 1 or the Ascari chicane. And that Ferrari 458 might struggle with its lack of straight line speed. The Lamborghini looking for a move on the inside of the Mercedes AMG. Let's hit the back of Evan Dalton, who rides over the curb. That's going to allow Tiger to go side by side with Evan. Through goes Nathan on the inside. Can he get past 2 cars in 2 corners? He moves from 7th down the inside of Evan, now up into 5th. The Brit into the top 5. Evan losing a position as a mistake of James's braking zone down in towards the second chicane. Just caught the hazard lights on the back of the Lamborghini, perhaps indicating that I want to work together with Evan to catch up to the front 4. Meanwhile, the 2 BCR drivers are running highly this race. They're in 7th and 8th place. James leading his teammates on the exit of Ascari down towards Parabolica. But the grid's still very close together. Slipstream will be important in this race. If you can stay within that 1 second to the car in front. The front 3 have begun to pull away from the chasing pack behind. We could see 2 sort of groups begin to form in this race, and it appears one of them will be this battle for the front 3, being led by our championship leader Jensen Taylor, now down and towards turn 1, leading Ate Timgren. Really taken a lot of curb on the inside. That might hinder his exit in the run down towards turn 4. You can see Ate's all over the back of the Lexus through Kerber Grande for the 3rd time this race into turn 4. Are we going to see any moves from the Finn? Not on this lap. He just decides to sit back behind for now. And behind them, they battled for 4th place going into the second chicane. Leon leading this rather long train of cars, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 of them, all the way down to Callum Birch in 11th place, just behind, I think that's Cameron Hill. But through the second Lesmo, down the back straight. Leon leads the Lamborghini that's almost pushing the back of that Lexus into Ascari. We run on board now with the Lamborghini Huracan through the Ascari chicane, a little bit of understeer through the corner. but now tucked up in the slipstream, and he has his eyes set on his next target. Does he go left? Does he go right? Leon defends the inside, forces Marriott to the outside. The two BCR drivers are side by side in the background, and Tyler's going to try and slip through the middle of them. Whilst these guys are side by side through the final corner. Nathan on the outside, Leon on the inside. They run side by side down the start-finish straight and across the line to start lap 4 in the battle for 4th place. Leon might lose a couple more positions because Evan Dalton's decided to follow the Lamborghini and give him a little bit of a bump across the line. Nathan up into 4th, Leon down into 6th place as a result, and the two BCR drivers swapping positions. Xavier Maynard now up into 7th place ahead of his teammate, who has Tyler Davison behind him for company, and Cameron and Callum. But the race leaders have begun to pull away here on lap 4. Looks like the front 3 are pretty much set or on course to finish in the top 3. But what's yet to be decided is what order they will finish in. Behind there is still this monumental battle for 4th place, being led by one of the slowest cars on the grid in forms of the Lamborghini Huracan. Behind him, Tyler in the Honda NSX as well doesn't have the most powerful engine on the grid, and you can see in the background Piero in the Ferrari 458 is struggling to keep up, but as these guys battle he will begin to close the gap. Piero I think had the slowest top speed recorded in qualifying, and Tyler's on course to gain an extra position on the exit of Ascari because the car in front of him, James, has picked up a half-second time penalty, which he will serve at this penalty gate. The Mercedes slows down, the Honda speeds on past and up into 8th place and splits the two BCR drivers here on lap 4. In the background, Cameron as well has picked up a half-second time penalty. That could be crucial for him because he's just on the edge of being knocked out of the slipstream. Serving that penalty will definitely put him out of the slipstream range. To Callum in front, but back to the front of the pack, or of the race, sorry, I should say. Yeah, it's the front 3 in this race are the front 3, well sorry, actually the top 4 in this race are the top 4 in the championship standings. Evan and Zav now running side by side through turn 2, through Kerber Grande they go. Them as the BCR Mercedes just having to sit behind for now. But Evans now on the attack, on from Leon in front, down and towards turn 4, decides to back out of it in the end, takes a lot of inside curb, dips a wheel off into the gravel. Was that a spin? I heard a lot of tyre smoke. He's round, I think collected by Zav, who had nowhere to go, but the Brit now dropping down to 9th, but more costly, Evan now out of the top 10, down into 12th place, sliding his way through the first Lesmo. And that is how crucial a mistake can be made at a track like Monza, where the pack is so close together. Tyler's now promoted into 6th place, as is James and Callum, who gain a couple of positions from that. Unfortunate for Zav, who had just nowhere to go. Evan losing the rear, dipping 2 wheels off into the gravel, couldn't quite catch it, but changed the position for the lead. Jensen, I believe, picking up a time penalty and has lost 2 positions to Maurizio Anate, who now retakes the lead of this race, and as it stands will retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Going into this race, only 3 points between them. 130 for 7 points for Jensen, 134 for Ate. And with only 1 race to go after this, every point matters. It is crucial. That fastest lap point might be the deciding factor as to who wins this championship and who finishes in 2nd. But whilst we have that battle for the lead, we also have this long train of cars that have formed behind the Huracan Express, going through Kerber Grande. Now Nathan defending the inside from Leon, obviously seeing him as a threat in that Lexus RCF. Has used a lot of inside curb, but fortunate to get away without a time penalty. But there is absolutely nothing separating the drivers from 4th down to 10th, all 7 of them close together out on the racetrack, as are the front 3 making their way through Ascari. Ate leading the 2 cars behind him. They've got a comfortable gap to 4th place, not to have to worry about losing time to this chasing pack behind. Nathan's off onto the AstroTurf in the gravel, but he rejoins and keeps the position. Callum looking for a move on James through Ascari as well, but that mistake from the pack leader has just brought the rest of the drivers very close together. James looking for a move on Leon. Leon they putting over to the outside. There's contact between the top 2. Leon forced a little bit wide, and James is going to have a look on the inside through the final corner. Callum's going to follow the Mercedes through on the inside and leave Leon out to dry as we cross the start-finish line once again. A little bit of bumping between the 2 cars as they try to fight for the slipstream, but Leon just tucks in behind, forces Tyler over to the inside and out of the slipstream. They're 2 by 2 into turn 1. It's like Noah's Ark here at Monza, but late on the brakes. Down the inside for Callum, up into 5th place. James and Tyler going side by side, the Brit being forced wide nearly off the track. Leon just slots in behind the Honda NSX, but they all survive another day. Cones being sent flying across the racetrack in front of Piero's Ferrari in the background. But through Curva Grande they go. Tyler defensive to the inside from Leon and Zav attacking behind. They're side by side. The Lexus on the inside for turn 4, now the outside for turn 5. Zav gains the position, but also picks up a time penalty, half a second for track limits. Leon, in a matter of corners, has gone from 5th place down to 9th. And back up to the front 3, it's still Ate that leads Maurizio from Jensen. None of which are currently in the position they started this race on. I don't think many drivers are in the position they started the race in. We've seen so much action out on track. That's another mistake through Ascari for Nathan. He's wide and off the track. Gravel being thrown onto the racing line, but it looks like the Brit survives another day. But one more mistake could be even more costly. That's twice now into Ascari. Change of position at the back as Zav slows down to serve his time penalty, leaves him side by side with Liam through the final corner. How early can he put his foot down and get back up to speed? Liam's going to have the momentum with the outside line, but Zav now tucking into the slipstream of the Lexus RCF and will bump draft across the start line to catch back up to the drivers in 7th place. So will he look for a move down the inside, actually, in towards turn 1, late on the brakes? Can he slow it down in time? No, he can't. Uses all of the curb on the inside, nearly like Hamilton and Verstappen in 2021, except Leon goes on through. More cones being sent flying through now on the apex of turn 3, but they all live to tell the tale. But Zav just too late on the brakes in towards turn 1, overcooked it, and will have another go to get his way back up into the top 8. But I don't know how I've missed this. Jensen's now gained 2 positions on the last lap. He's gotten past both Ate and Maurizio Veltwis, and is now up into the lead of the race and will retake the championship lead. 22 points for a win, 16 for second. You gain 6 points for finishing first over the driver that finishes in second, and with the top 2 in the championship being separated by only 3 of them points, then every possession matters. Here we go once again between the championship protagonists. Ate down the inside into the final corner and retakes the lead of the race, and with it the championship. Once again, the championship table being flipped on its head here at the Italian Grand Prix. Oh, if this was only the season finale, we'd be in for a great race. But I'm sure next week at Deep Forest will provide just as much entertainment and action as we're seeing on the racetrack tonight. Jensen having a little look on the inside and towards turn 1, but isn't quite close enough to send it. He's being watched carefully by Maurizio behind, and behind them there's this monumental battle that's never ending for 4th place. Nathan still leads them down and towards the first corner. Callum Birch in 5th ahead of James in 6th. Those 4 cars, and then there's 4 cars behind them Piero's now caught up in this battle. He runs in 10th place. Leons picks up a 1.5 second penalty. The cone on the inside of turn 3 is now on the outside of turn 3. Someone's disposed of that. Marshall might have to run across the track and pick it up. Might need to deploy the VSC. Callum's got ahead of Nathan down and towards turn 4, who weaves across the track. I think slightly unhappy with that 5-tenth time penalty. Perhaps he feels it was given quite harshly, thinking he was still inside the track limits. But a penalty at this stage of the race isn't as costly as if it was 5 laps ago, but will still lose 1 or 2 positions to James and Tyler behind. Leon's in trouble of dropping himself quite far behind this train of cars with that degree of time penalty. We've lost another driver in this race. We're now down to 14. Started with 16. Jakob and Tim are still on the grid. I think it is Kian who has dropped out of the race. Leon drops down into 11th place and outside the top 10. But back up to the top 2 that crossed the line to start lap 10 of 25. Ate leading Jensen in the race and in the championship. If the race were to finish right now, Nathan drops out of 5th place and into 7th, losing 2 positions with that 5-tenth penalty. Callum's got a little bit deep into turn 1, I think. James has got a decent exit off of the first chicane. Might eye up a little run now down through turn 3 in towards turn 4. Great overtaking opportunity if you can get it right. You can see the Mercedes is gaining and gaining and gaining, darts over to the left-hand side of the track. The inside for turn 4, the outside for turn 5. Late on the brakes and down the inside and up into the top 4. But Callum's going to cut him back on the inside. It's a poor exit for the AMG. Tyler might try and capitalise and go down the inside of him as well in towards the first Lesbo. Will the Lamborghini follow him through? There's a little bit of contact between the two, but the Huracan on the inside of the Mercedes AMG. And, well, James tried to go for an overtake up into 4th place, and it's ended up with him losing 2 positions, down into 7th. Oh, car round in the background. That's Leon getting all out of sorts of out of shape, running wide on the exit of turn 7, costing him a couple of tenths down the back straight. Cameron now with a 1-second time penalty will bring Leon back into the equation. Pierre, though, he's caught up brilliantly to this battle for 4th place, just assisting the BCR Mercedes in the run down towards Parabolica. Here comes Tyler now down the inside of James. I think this is James actually going round the outside of Tyler into the final corner. But the Honda NSX stays in front for another lap. The front 3 are still single file down towards the first corner. Ate leading Jensen ahead of Maurizio, who's doing a great job to keep up with the front 2. James pulls out of a slipstream into the inside, going towards the first corner. He's late on the brakes. Can he slow it down in time? Yes, he can, and this time he gets past the Honda with no troubles. Moves up into 6th place. 1 Brit down, 2 to go. He's got Nathan and Callum in front of him, both of which on the medium compound tyres. Tyre wear is very low out of this circuit, so will not be a major factor in this race. Of course, drivers will try and pit as early as they can. So in terms of tyre deg, it won't be a strategic headache. But getting the strategy right could be crucial. Maurizio's made a mistake somewhere in the last couple of laps. Either that or the front 2 have pulled away. And it is now a 2-horse race as it stands, for not only the lead of this race, but the championship lead as well. Only 3 points separating these 2 drivers in the championship. Jensen running solo in the teams, so not much he can do about... Well, actually, the front 2 have been running solo in the teams championship. Of course, Ate, part of Spider GT, has Avesta as his teammate, but Avesta scoring no points this week. Scored a couple a few weeks ago. They are 14 points ahead of Squadra Italia that run 5th and 9th in this race, but still not outscoring a win. And if there's any chance of the Italian team winning this team's championship out of the blue, then they're going to need to get both drivers inside the top 5 just to neutralise the gap. The gap will get bigger between the two teams if Squadra Italia don't have 2 cars inside the top 5, with Ate leading and winning this race. It's 12 points for 4th, 10 for 5th, which is 22 in total. Ate leading with the fastest lap. That's 23 points, still outscoring 2 drivers that finished in 4th and 5th. And Piero running in 9th place, although he is inside the top 5, running strong with this battle for 4th place. It's going to be tough for him to make moves on the track. He might have to be down to strategy with him because, well, if we ride on board, he is not gaining despite being in a slipstream. If anything, he's losing time, and it's going to be a painful 45 minutes for the Frenchman in this race, which is why I think my strategy of getting to the front as quickly as you can has worked quite well in the early phases of this race. Being in the Lamborghini, you get to the front and people start automatically working with you rather than against you. Activity in the pit lane. We've got drivers and teams making their way out into the pits to change the tyres on the 2 Porsche cars. Ate and Callum are into the pits at the end of lap 12. Our championship leader being serviced for tyres and fuel. And whilst the worn mediums go off, a fresh set of softs go on. But where does he filter out onto the track? Is it going to be ahead of this 3-car battle for 9th or behind? It's going to be close to the inside at turn 1. Cameron now on the outside. They make a bit of contact at the apex. Cameron rides to the curb, but with the traction, with the grip and the exit, Ate goes round the outside and pulls out in front of Cameron Hill. That was a crucial overtake for the Finn. Maybe the most crucial overtake he'd make all race, because if he'd got stuck behind those 3 cars, it'd be an absolute disaster for him in terms of the strategy and undercutting the 2 cars around him. Nathan now promoted into a podium, but will be pushed off it rather soon because he's picked up another 5/10th penalty through the second chicane, and he'll lose maybe 2 or 3 positions as a result of that off-track excursion. But will any of the top 2 react to Ate pitting? Will any of this train react to Callum pitting? We'll have to wait and see. The Lamborghini slows down to serve that time penalty, and through goes James, Tyler and Zab on the outside. The 2 Squadra Italia cars now running together at last at their home Grand Prix. Jensen reacts. He's into the pits off of the mediums. Any of these guys going to dive into the pits as well? Fake from James, and both Squadra Italia cars find themselves into the pits. As Jensen Taylor leaves the pit lane, he's got a beautiful shot of these cars nearly going 3 wide into turn 1. Zav backs out. Tyler's late on the brakes down the inside. James is going to try and set himself up round the outside, but there's contact between the 2, and through goes Xavier Maynard on the inside. The 2 BCR drivers now run side by side, wheel to wheel through Curva Grande, with James on the inside, battling to hold on to a podium position on the track. But of course, these drivers are yet to make a pit stop, those running inside the top 4. And whilst Maurizio leads, it's only temporary. Tyler picks up a 1 second time penalty for taking too much curb on the inside of turn 5. Whereas everyone else filtered out onto the racetrack. Nathan ahead of Cameron. Piero's lost a lot of time in the pit stops. Of course, pitted right behind me and has come out several seconds behind and has put in a little bit more fuel. I think the Ferrari, the engine inside that Ferrari 458 has had to work overtime in this race, and as a result is starting to go through a little bit more of its fuel. Jensen moves up into third place. Tyler drops down into fifth after serving that time penalty. But hang on a minute, Jensen's pitted. Where's Ate? He's so far behind. What has happened in the battle for the lead of the race and has led Jensen Taylor, Jean Paté in the pit stops and build quite a sizable gap? A bit more fuel's gone into the tank of that Porsche 911. Has Jensen underfueled here? Has he gone for track position? Half a tank, and he's picked up a 1.5 second penalty. So whilst he's gained that time in the pit stop, he's going to lose it going over the white lines. Could that be a championship defining mistake? We will have to wait and see. Maurizio still leads the Italian Grand Prix, but is yet to make a pit stop, as is Tyler Davison. Leon is yet to come into the pits. Callum has held position and has built out a gap to Nathan behind. The gaps have begun to open a little bit since the first stint, but they're about to get a little bit closer after Jensen serves his time penalty. He's 3/10 purple through the middle sector, but it's not going to count because through Ascari he's off the throttle for a 1.5 seconds. That'll feel like an age as he finally builds up to speed. Here come the charging Tyler and Ate. Ate now down the inside. Jensen covers the inside from the Finn, who just tucks back in behind the Honda, but it has brought the front two in the championship neck and neck once again in this race, with Jensen maybe in a little bit of trouble with fuel. He's under-fueled compared to Ate, or has Ate played it a little bit more safe and put in a bit more fuel? But he's on the attack now. There's no playing it safe from him. He's down the inside and up into the lead of the race. And in doing so, it's a new fastest lap, a 1:46.5. We've got cars into the pits. Tyler leaving the pits just behind Nathan, James and Zav ahead of Piero. And now I do remember why Piero is so far back, as he goes side by side with Leon down towards the first corner, out of the pits. Leon has the advantage and up into 9th place. I feel like it is worth noting quickly what's caused Piero to drop further behind than it seemed. We'll let this play out down towards the first corner as the two BCR cars leave the pit lane. Piero on the outside, and contact between him and James, and that's what sent Piero off the track and into the gravel. I mentioned Hamilton Verstappen once before in this race. We've had it again. James late on the brakes coming out of the pits. Two cars into turn one at that angle. Doesn't go well. Hamilton and Verstappen proved that to us already, and there's further evidence of it once again. Back to the live action. We cut to Tyler coming out of the pits just behind Nathan Marriott, who moves up into 5th place and into the top 5. The front two though, 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 on the racetrack, with 10 laps to go here at the Italian Grand Prix. In terms of winning races, well, only 3 different drivers have won races this season, and only these two have won multiple races this year. Jensen, of course, picking up his maiden win back in Daytona, followed by 2 rounds later at Kyoto. And of course, Ate started the season in dominant fashion, winning the first 4 races consecutively. He's not finished lower than 2nd thus far this season. but of course he missed the sprint race at Interlagos and crucial points to maintain that gap to Jensen. Of course, Jensen wasn't here for the season opener at Barcelona, but of course there's more points available in the sprint race, and Jensen won the sprint race in Interlagos but didn't win the feature race. Finished second to Vestergaardi in that one. So of course there's 12 points advantage in Jensen's favour, but at a strong start to the season has kept him in the fight, and continues to lead this race down towards the first corner. Behind, Tyler runs a little bit wide but just keeps it within the white lines through the final corner, and is looking to pounce and attack on the car in front. We're on board inside the Honda NSX GT500, one of the latest Group 3 cars to be added to the game, as he chases a car that's a lot newer than the one he is driving in terms of age. But look at the exit that he's got through turn 2. He's pushing the back of the Lamborghini through Curva Grande. Tyler trying to find a way inside the top 5. Nathan pulls over to the left hand side of the circuit temporarily, goes back over to the racing line, thought he's going to defend the position. He's gone deep through turn 4, over the curbs at turn 5, and Tyler now promoted up into 5th place. And another mistake from the Italian manufacturer. The Lamborghini has been off the track several times tonight. Fortunately, no big incidences, just a couple of moments too late on the brakes, a little bit wide through a couple of corners, and it's cost another position. And they're now down into 6th place. James has picked up a 1 second time penalty following his teammate, presumably for track limits at turn 5. As they make their way through the Ascara chicane. Teammates always look good running on track close together, but the VCR livery certainly stands out among the rest of the liveries on the grid. With its fluorescent colours, it certainly stands out on the grid, and it really draws your attention when they are running close together on track. Meanwhile, we've lost another driver. Jakob has also retired from this race, which means Tim is now running in last, but he's not too far behind Cameron, who has set some rather inconsistent lap times as of late, 2 being in the 58s and the 59s. But his last 2 laps have been quick and competitive. 47.6. It's a new personal best for the Brit, who picked up his first podium of the season last week at Kyoto. Guess we haven't really talked much about the circuit, but there hasn't been the opportunity to talk much about it. So much action out on the track that first opened in 1922, and has hosted several different forms of motorsport over the years. Commonly known, as the Temple of Speed, and as high speed is certainly one of the key characteristics of this circuit. Has changed its layout over the years. Of course, we no longer run the big banked corner that's on the inside of the runs. That part of it runs on the inside of the circuit. And there's a famous, well-known circuit across the world. Are the leaders side by side? No, they're not going into turn 1. Ate still leading Jensen, and we got another 3-way fight for 8th place. Leon leading James ahead of Piero, rounding out the top 10. Depending on how much they hold each other up, could give Evan a chance of scoring a point or 2 in this race. Every time I look at the leaders, I look at the fuel tank in that Lexus RCF and I ask myself, can he make it to the end? Is this why Jensen is sat behind Ate? He's saving fuel, because I don't think pace, or the words lack of pace, certainly do not get applied when you're talking about the current championship leader, although as it stands will lose that title, with Ate picking up 23 points or 22 points and a point for the fastest lap. But while we might not have a change of position for the lead of the race, we might have one for 8th place. A mistake from Leon running wide through the second Lesmo down at turn 6 might give James an opportunity to get the run he needs down towards the Ascari chicane to go for a move up into 8th place. Time penalties have really knocked the Brit towards the lower end of the top 10. Certainly has the pace to be competing with those inside the top 6, but doesn't have the legs to get up into 8th place down towards the Ascari chicane. Our leaders still run nose to tail down towards the first corner. Ate leading Jensen, as he now does in the championship if the race were to finish as it is. Maurizio has just dropped off this battle for the top 2 since he made a mistake before the first pit stop window. Callum's moved himself up into 4th place, having started in 12th. He's having a great race in the Porsche. The Honda roaring its way down the gears in towards turn 1, being chased by the Lamborghini, which has closed the gap ever so slightly in the last few laps. Sav in 7th is running in a little bit of no man's land, but does have these 3 cars behind him to keep an eye on. Of course, a mistake or a time penalty for him could bring him into this 3-car battle for 8th place. We've got a change of position for the lead of the race. It's Jensen on Ate. How did this occur? Going into the Ascari chicane. Let's give it a watch. Ate running wide onto the gravel opens the opportunity for Jensen to slip on by, and immediately tries to weave to break the toe, goes defensive to the inside in the run down towards Parabolica, and takes the lead of the race. He's been waiting for that move, and now he's done it. Up into 1st place, and as they cross the line, there will be 5 laps to go here at the Italian Grand Prix at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Which reminds me, I didn't do the Italian intro I was going to do. That is a shame. Oh well. Pierro's picked up a 5/10 penalty through Ascari, and he will have to serve it on the next lap, and that might ruin his chances of a top 8 finish. Behind, Tim gets past Callum as he serves a time penalty, but what is it between the top 2? Ate just sits behind Jensen for now, going in towards the second chicane. These two have pushed each other every step of the way ever since those lights go out. It's foot to the floor, and they are always motivated by each other. When one goes quicker, it's just that little bit more oomph to go a little bit quicker. But Ate just sat behind, patiently waiting for an opportunity. Not going for it in towards Ascari, doesn't want to risk anything this late on into the race and this late into the season. First corner, maybe his best chance at an overtake. So round the final corner once again through turn 14. Turn 14? Where did I get that from? There's only 11 corners. Turn 11, sorry. But they run side by side down the start-finish straight in towards turn 1. Ate on the inside, Jensen on the outside, leads on the brakes and down the inside. Ate's up into the lead of the race, and with it will retake the championship lead. which he has held since round 1. But lost the lead of the championship last week in Kyoto. Not long left to go in this race. How are we looking for tyres? Tyres on that Lamborghini aren't looking great. That's a 5/10 penalty for myself. Meanwhile, Xavier's being caught by Leon and the chasing pack behind. Despite serving a time penalty, Piero is still close behind James going through turn 3. Continuing to set fast lap times as well through the first sector. A bit of gravel being kicked up onto the racing line through turn on the exit of turn 5. There's a couple of drivers running wide. I think one of them was Xavier Maynard, who's lost a little bit of time to Leon in his battle for 7th place. The Mercedes still leads the Lexus by not the gap he had before. Leon looks for a move down towards the Ascari chicane, but doesn't decide to centre it. More dust being kicked up on the exit of Ascari, but the leaders are running side by side once again into turn 1. This time it's Jensen on the inside. He's later on the brakes. He's down the inside and up into the lead of the race at the start of lap 23. 3 laps to go here in the Italian Grand Prix, and it's the Brit that leads the Finn. It's foot to the floor through turn 3. These two drivers battling for first place. Jensen, having started on pole position, now has to try and defend it. Behind the two BCR drivers trying to get up into 7th place. Leon on the inside as Av gets the move done up into 7th place. Parks the bus on the apex and gets a great exit as well. As Av just unable to put his foot down as early as he wanted, but I'm sure he will get assistance from his teammate to close down that gap once again to try and retake 7th place. But I think Ate's made a mistake. He's 1.9 seconds down on his sector 2 split, and look at the time that he's lost to Jensen in front of the gap. Now about a second between the two. What happened? Could that be a mistake that cost him the win here in Monza? We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Piero's caught up to the back of James, nearly pushing him down the back straight in the run down towards the Ascari chicane. Leon leads this battle, but look at the tyre difference between the Lexus and the Lamborghini. Nathan could be in trouble here towards the end of this race. Only 2 laps to go, but he's going to be losing a lot of rear grip, and the rear tyres are so important at this circuit. Lots of low speed corners. Exit of turn 2, exit of 5, 6, 7. And I think 150, 148.4. The cars behind are 1.5 seconds quicker than the Lamborghini in front of them. Sliding his way through turn 1, I think the pressure is now on to hold on to 6th place. As the sun shines from behind the trees on our race leaders approaching the Ascari chicane. They are 1-2 in the race, 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship, with 2 races to go, one after this one. It's starting to get... well, things are starting to heat up. I'm just going to go back because what's happened to Callum, I'm not sure when this happened, but he's dropped down to 5th place, and with a time penalty. It was on the last lap. He set a 1:56.4 and has had an off somewhere, but I'm not sure where exactly he had that off. But here we go then, 1 minute and 47 seconds left of racing action here at the Italian Grand Prix. Jenson Taylor starts the lead of the starts the final lap of the race in the lead from his championship rival down in towards turn 1. It's been no question that these two were going to finish on the podium in this race. It's just what order will they finish in? Can Jenson hold off Ate, who is coming quite close behind him through turn 3? The sun beginning to set, shining a light on these two drivers that have been exceptional all season long. Through the second chicane, the Lexus leaving the Porsche defensive to the inside at turn 5. Ate's got a great run. Can he go round the outside? He just tucks in behind the Lexus for now. The number of opportunities are running out for him. He's late on the brakes. He's down the inside and towards the second Lesmo. Just about gives Jenson enough room on the outside and takes the lead of the race. Weaves to break the toe as best he can down the back straight in the run down towards the Ascari chicane. The Flying Finn has shot himself up into the lead of the race. Car number 52 has got one corner to go to try and defend from Jenson Taylor, who's got a great run through the Ascari chicane. With only one corner to go, they are side by side on the last lap. The Lexus just edging in front of the Porsche, now to the inside of the final chicane. Ate's going to have to do it on the outside, the long way round. Can he go wide? Cuts inside. No, he can't. Jenson might have this in the run up to the line. He's run out of fuel, and through goes Ate around the outside and wins the Italian Grand Prix. My oh my, what a dramatic end to the dramatic race. Maurizio Veltwist finishes in third on the podium. All about this action behind. Nathan Marriott close to puncturing on that rear left, has Leon on the grass on the inside, tries to send it on the inside, and there's contact between the two. Nathan's forced wide to the outside, Leon drifting his way on the inside. It's Tyler finishes in fourth, Callum in fifth. It's going to be a photo finish to see who finishes in sixth. It's up to the line, Nathan in sixth, Leon in seventh. The two BCR drivers close together in eighth and ninth. There's a photo between those two. Piero rounding out the top 10. Evan Dalton made that mistake early on in the race, hasn't quite been able to recover from it. Will finish just outside of the points in 11th. And it could go down to the line between these two. Tim having a look on the inside of Cameron Hill, but through the final corner for the final time. Cameron just about beats the Dutchman to 12th place. My oh my, what an end to that race. And when I got told after the race that it was a close finish, there's a reason why I didn't get any post-race photos of the leaders, because I wanted it to be a raw reaction to that race. And we will watch it one more time. This time we'll watch it from the cockpit cam of both cars as we conclude the end of this race. It was that move there that we thought that Ate was going to put himself on course to win the race, but Jenson fought back. And with that, Ate takes the championship lead back once again, which he has held for the last 6 weeks, but of course was beaten to it last week by a great haul of points from Jenson in Kyoto. This is where the Lexus got back past the Porsche into the final corner. And you're about to see that our RCF run out of fuel as they get to the line. Jenson parked his car beautifully on the apex. Had he fueled enough to go to the end of the race, then he would have had it. Frustration cruising over the line. And then, of course, there was the final lap, near collision between these two in 6th place. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching that with that race. Ate now on 157 points. Jensen on 153. 4 points between the top two going into the final race of the season at Deep Forest Raceway. We've had some great races there in the past. I'm sure we're going to have a great one here or there next week. The Swiss aren't commonly associated with holding motorsport races, but they're about to hold one of the biggest of the season. It's between this man and the driver behind who will decide the winner of the FVR GT Season 3 Championship. I've been Nathan, your commentator for this evening, and as we snap the race winner, our championship leader, can the Flying Finn soar over the line one last time to take home the championship for the second year running, or will we have a fresh set of hands lifting the trophy in the names of Jensen Taylor? We'll have to find out. Join us same time, same place next week for the season finale. Goodbye.